Hey there, this is Christy from birdmentor.com, where I teach advanced skills to beginning birders, and today is, well, what I'm doing right now is Nature Note. My little tip for you to help you connect more deeply with the natural world. And my idea for today came from something that happened to me in the middle of the night. I'm not sure if any of you, I don't want to say struggle with this, but it can be a struggle sometimes, and that's not being able to stay asleep. So where you sleep for part of the night and then all of a sudden at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning you wake up and you just can't go back to sleep. And I don't know, over the last year or so I haven't had as much of a problem with this, but there were a few years where like almost every night I was up at like between 2 to 4 in the morning and just couldn't go back to sleep. And one thing that really started shifting that for me was, instead of fighting it, I just decided to, hey Brian, I just decided to get up and start doing things. And so, and then some mornings or nights, what I would even do was, I would go outside, and not for that long, you know, like it wouldn't even be that long. It would just be like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes, depending on the night. If it was summertime, I might stay out longer, and if it was winter, maybe not as long. Yeah, so this morning I was, I think, awake at like 4:30 or so, and just got inspired. And so I kept my pajamas on, just threw on like a winter jacket, put a hat on and like my boots and stuff, and just bundled up and got outside. And it took me maybe like, I don't know, 6 minutes for the whole process to like get down from bed and get all bundled up. And then I just stood outside, and that time of day, it's just different, you know? There's something different in the darkness, and there's a stillness. I mean, that's sort of like the obvious difference, that nature and the rest of the world is just quieter then. I don't think I even heard a car the whole time. Well, there was one car I heard while I was outside. But I could hear like the wind and the trees like way farther out than I normally can. And I could hear frogs, and you know, some nights you can hear the owls. And I know like in the wintertime here, you know, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go outside, and you know, there's fresh snow or whatever, and I'd see, sometimes I see bobcat tracks outside, or coyote or fox, and I'd wonder like, when did they get here? You know, like it was obviously sometime from the time that like I came inside or it got dark. And yeah, and so I just love that kind of stuff. Like I love knowing when the creatures are wandering around and when they're checking stuff out. And so yeah, so this for me is like one way to get to know their rhythms a little bit more. I sort of have this like a hope that I'll see one someday, like in the middle of the night. I know some of you may not. You might think that that would be kind of scary, but you know, for me, honestly, I step maybe like 2 feet away, or not even, like away from my door. And so I always feel safe, like I could come back inside. Other people may be more courageous or bold and feel like they could, you know, step outside and maybe even like wander a little bit. You know, I had a friend tell me a story not too long ago where she has insomnia and couldn't sleep, and so she just went for a walk. Like it was a full moon and she went for a walk like in her yard, and just how wonderful it was. And so yeah, what I want to inspire you to do today, maybe this morning or whenever, I don't like wish that upon you necessarily, but there's kind of a magicness that happens at that dark time. And you know, when that stillness is about, the energy is just different. Like everything is different about the nighttime and the darkness, especially not just like, there's a difference between sort of like the night from like 9 o'clock to like midnight, and then there's something that happens, I feel, between like the 2 and maybe 5 o'clock range. There's just like a slightly different like entity around. When I camp, I do this every morning, says R. Scott. Oh, isn't that the best? Yeah. And so it's just like, you know, getting to hear, and right now this time of year with all the different birds coming back, like there's some crazy sounds that you'll get to hear that time of night. And also like sometimes people can't sleep because they're spinning a lot in their head, like a lot is going on, and it's hard to calm that down, and just standing outside can try to shift that energy, you know. And it's not a bad idea to like look to the natural world to help you sort things out, you know. And so just going outside and and thinking about what that is, maybe not like spinning on it, but just sort of asking the question, like, how do I figure this out, you know, and just see what comes. And oftentimes what would happen for me is that I was able to go back to sleep, you know. Sometimes I wouldn't, but my life feels more rich because I do things like that, you know, like this morning, it felt so special to be out there in the middle of the morning, and where I knew, well, I didn't really know if no one else was awake, but it just felt like it was kind of like my time, you know. I just got to be there with the world and have that special experience with it. So yeah, so try it out, see what happens, let me know. And if you think this video could be helpful for a friend or a family member, you can send it to them. And yeah, if you go outside, let me know how it goes, because I'd love to hear other stories about what other people's experiences are, and you know, just how you connect with the darkness and the night. All right, enjoy, have fun. See you, Brian.